gave it to Adam and Eve and said, this is for you, a gift. We do not tell time because some of us thought that it happened instantaneously. But if you read Genesis 1 and 2, the fact is years could have gone by before sin happened. Some of us read it and we feel like God created Adam and Eve on the 6th day, 7th day they rested, on Sunday they sinned. Right? Doesn't it feel like that? That's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, you know? But the fact is we don't know. And I suspect that a long time passed before the sin happened. And I can show you when we really do a study in Genesis, that before chapter 3, they spent years enjoying the garden. But man, I think one of the consequences of sin is that we stop seeing the garden that God has created for us. Stop signs are interesting. I ignored them for the most of my life while driving in Singapore and in Australia. It wasn't that important. It was like usually when there's a stop sign in Singapore, there's not really no cars that's around. There isn't many stop signs anyway. And in Australia, like where I live, in the suburb, really, there's really no cars whenever I go out. But I found out that when you're in the United States, it's a matter of life and death. That people respect the stop sign. They don't have as many roundabouts or traffic lights, but there are stop signs and you have to stop, you have to check. If you don't check and you just assume no car is coming, get ready to be T-boned. The car's going to come, it's going to hit you smack in the door, driver's side, and you're going to die. The fact is, you're going to stop. You're going to check. Check before you move. If we're the right way. I had problems with that because in Singapore we drive on the right side, and I check for the side that is wrong in the States. So I have to learn to really check on the right side, which is the left side. Give way, go in. But with life, I think in life we need stop signs. And God gives us stop signs. And one of the biggest stop signs is today. Once a week God says, stop. Stop with your way of living your life. And remember what you were created, how you were created to live your life. Stop. On this picture of a friend given to me is a place that I thought, oh, where is that? He said, this is Russia. Russia. Beautiful mountains, snow-capped mountain in the distance, rolling grass fields. And he said that he lived about 3 or 4 kilometers from it for a time when he was working in Russia. He said the problem is he saw it on the last day before he left. The way to be able to pass by it. He finally saw this place. He didn't take a picture, he just found a picture for me very well. And he says, that was it. That described his life to that point. He said he's been living his life, going past this beautiful, wonderful, amazing place, and he didn't notice it. It was right there. Right there. You can tell me, James, Singapore there isn't a lot of nature. But have you been to every single spot that's been available? Have you walked the entire Macritchie Reservoir, which is just down there? It's currently very busy because of Pokemon. A lot of people there, and a lot of people coming to church. Yesterday I just sat out in the foyer, the day before. I sat out in the foyer, and I just want to see how many strange people walking, because this is a Pokemon stop. And I sat there, and there were just people walking in, and they will peek around the gate. The only thing they know is there's a gate, there's a church thing, and I always like, when they peek around the gate, I'm like, and I was like, you come in, they thought I was there to catch Pokemon. They come in, like, hey, do you see any Pokemon? I know, I see a Pokemon hunter. It's like, oh, sorry, did I pass? It's like, no, I'm the pastor. That's fine, you can come in. You can have a sit if you want. And then another guy came. I saw 5 new faces I've never seen in my life. And I said, where do you come from? He said, oh, we were walking in McRitchie Reservoir, and then we walked by and we saw that your place is Pokemon Stop. I said, oh, come back every day. No problem. I'll be here for you if you want to talk to me. They're like, they say, oh, is this a church? I'm like, yeah, there's a cross there. I said, oh. They say, if you come by Saturday, it's better. Come by. And I'm thinking of like just setting up drinks there and just inviting people coming in. If anybody free to come in, welcome people. There's just people walking in every day. But the fact is, there's a lot of places where you can go and walk around in Singapore and it's nature. And I think God is intentional when He first created humanity. He created nature as a revelation of who He is before He came and met. Singapore is full of greeneries. I didn't realize that, but until my friends started visiting me over these 3 years I've been back, one of the constant comments from them is Singapore is so green. It's so green, and there's so many trees. I like we kind of like artificially planted. And it's like, at least you try to do that. But even the trees are amazing. You know, we heard about the 3 trees outside that we shaved them for national service. Every day as I look out my window, I could see them. And it's amazing how they grow. And the green leaves that come back. One of them is dying, got poisoned by the drainage water, I think. But it's just amazing that they're in the same spot. And some thrive, and some die. We could be in Singapore, all of us. And some people will be suffocated by this place. Some people will blossom and bloom. I think there's more to it. In Psalm 98 verse 8, it says, let the rivers clap their hands and let the mountains sing together for joy. You know, when I read Psalms and verses like that, I look at it, I'm like, what is it talking about? Until you spend time going into nature, you will not understand it. I believe when David was running away or was in exile, he looked at the place where he was hiding and he saw the river and the mountain and he says, wow, God created all this. God created a river. The river, as they flow, as they hit the rocks, it sounds like people applauding God. And the mountains, when the wind blows by and going through it, you hear as though the mountains are singing to God. God created a nature for us to understand Him better. Not just for us to appreciate nature, but the nature should point us to the ultimate Creator who has created this awesomeness to reveal Himself to us. I have a place where, when I was studying in Andrews University, it's called the Michigan Lake. The Michigan Lake, I told you last week, I think, is bigger than Singapore. It's huge. And there's a place where I go to, it's called St. Joseph. There's 2 towns that's nearby, St. Joseph, and there's Benton Harbor. Benton Harbor, if you go after 9, you never come back. St. Joseph, it's okay. It's where the safe place is. It's where the prison is. It's safer, and there's police there. And there's this spot that I always go. Whenever school gets busy, and one of the things that I realize when you go overseas and study is things really fun, but it does get really lonely at times because you don't have your friends that you grew up with, you don't have a support group, and people are living life a little different. So there'll be days where I have a lot of work to do, a little bit busy, or I need time out, and I don't want to stay in the house because the house is so house. So I'll drive to this spot in St. Joseph, overlooking Michigan Lake. It's like my little secret spot. And the church I pastor know that I have a little secret spot that I go in St. Joseph. And some of them go to St. Joseph and to Michigan Lake too. And they'll always ask me, Pastor, where's your secret spot? I said, I'm not telling you. It's my secret. They're like, come on, it must be awesome. I want to go there too. And it's mine. I'm going to be selfish about it. But what happens whenever I go there is that it helps me reset. Whenever I look at the studies, the work, the assignment, the life, the tough hardship, I look at it, I'm like, this is overwhelming, I can handle it. I go there, I look at I go to the spot, and I'm like, I have a conversation with God. I go there, God, show me how I can get through it, and come close to me at this moment. And I look out into the river, I'm like, God is here. God is right there. He created this a long time ago. Not specifically with me in mind, But he knows that one day I will come here and I'll benefit and be blessed by the lake that he's created, by this sunset that I can see every time I go there. Life has a way of wrestling us away from God. But we have to intentionally make a decision to wrestle life back from life. So I encourage all of you to find a place, a spot. Take time out every day. I think there's a reason why consistently when we look at the Bible and characters in the Bible, they always take time out. Even Jesus arose early in the morning and he would go up into the mountain to prepare himself for the day because he needed it. Life goes so fast that we need to remind ourselves that life is not only about waking up to work out. Life is not about waking up to make myself a wonderful breakfast. It's not about waking up early to get to work on time. It's not about coming back home to relax. It's also about remembering God. And if you tell me God is so far away from me, I will ask you, have you been running away from God with life, or have you stopped so that God could catch you? See, God is not chasing, but you are running away. God is saying, I'm here. And he's saying, God, you're so far. Because you are living God. And you're not giving God time. You're not stopping to talk to God. So one of the things that I have to intentionally do with my siblings right now is that I have to intentionally communicate with them. Because I no longer live in the same house with them. I used to live in the same room with my brother, and we don't have to think about talking to each other because we have to. But now that we're living in 3 different places, I have to intentionally message him and go, hey bro, how you doing? Message my sister, check out with her. We started a group chat between the siblings, leaving our parents out. There's our little space, and we talk. And that's how we maintain this relationship. We keep us close to one another. And it is the same with God. If you ignore God long enough, you won't be able to hear Him or see Him. Not because He doesn't want to talk to you or the one to show Himself to you, but because you have tuned your ears in a way that you can't hear Him. One of the amazing things that you can see in Australia, because of the clear big blue sky with no tall buildings to block you, is double rainbows. I could at times see triple rainbows because of the reflection that's around just near the suburb where we live. And if you look at it, rainbow is something that we could both be in the same suburb, live in the same house, but one of us will sit and one of us won't. And sometimes both of us will be looking and one will be at a wrong angle, a wrong distance, and he won't be able to see as clearly as I have. Or I could be at the wrong side of the rainbow or wrong side of the road, and I'll see one, but the other can see two because of angles. And I challenge you that life is like that. That life sometimes can be seen clearer depending on how you look at things. One of the scary things of Australia is that in summer there'll be heat waves, and sometimes it gets to about 42 degrees Celsius. Really hot that you open your window as you're driving, you can burn your face because it's so hot. And one of the times when the first 2 years I was in Australia, I'll be like, God, why is it so hot in Australia? Why do you create this place like that? God has a sense of humor, and I think God interested me in a way that I interact with Him. And I'll be there, I'll be like, God, it's so hot, my aircon's not working, the supermarket is full of people in the frozen section, I don't know where to go, the swimming pool is warm, I don't know what to do. And then at that very moment, there's a cool breeze that comes. And it's just like, God, like, I can if I don't want to. Just give me a cool breeze. And I'm like, okay, God, stop complaining. And if I've been not noticing, I'll stop. I will not have fun with it. One of the things that I really like are lightnings and thunders. Singapore has the highest frequency of lightning strike in the world, did you know? Crazy. People is really scared. It's just like, judgment day is coming. But sometimes the lightning is really, but I love lightning and thunder. I love the sound, I love the air, I love the entire atmosphere, and I'll wake up and just to look at it. And when we look at lightning and thunder, it's amazing. When we look at the lightning, it's so quick. And you can see it and you can miss it. But then when you see it, it's just like, whoa, did you see that? It's awesome. And I'm just looking at that. And every time I look at the lightning and thunder, I look at how powerful it is. And I realize that if it hits somebody, somebody dies. You know? And the fact that it's just striking all around me, and it is light and power released in a moment, and the negative ion in the air is good for me, and it's an amazing experience of lightning and thunder. And at times I remember that, hey, the Bible says God is like that. Whenever God appears, there'll be thunder and lightning, and people are scared. But some people are okay with it. I think that's God. God doesn't change. But depending on how we look at God, we can see Him clearly and enjoy and be in His presence and understand Him better and feel His awesomeness, or you could be afraid of Him, be scared of Him. The same phenomenon can both empower and cause fear. We need to stop in order to see. We need to pay attention or we're missing. First point I'm going to talk about is that to feel and hear God, to know that God is close, we need eyes that can see. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 22-23, it says, the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? It talks about many things in this verse, but one of the important things that this verse brings out is that our eyes can allow light to come in if our eyes are healthy. I have astigmatism. And when light comes in, I told you about this, right? When light comes in, I look at the spotlight, it's always in starburst. And it's always very romantic. My world is romantic. And because that's how my eyes works, I cannot show you what my world looks like. But my world looks really awesome. It's like starburst. When I drive at night, it's like the movies with that future, these lights flowing through. And then when I watch lightning, I can explain to you how awesome it looks. But that's my eyes. How are your eyes? God says the eyes that is healthy will see light and your whole body will be full of light. Your perception of life will determine how your life is. Life is not going to change. Life is going to be like that. But one way of looking at it will give you light, and the other way, unhealthy eyes, wrong perception of life will bring darkness into your life. How do you perceive life? You have a palette. And one of the things that you do with a palette is you can draw. And depending on the color combination of your palette, you can draw nice, beautiful, colorful things, or things in black and white. I took drawing when I was in secondary 3, when I was just 15 years old. And one of the problem we have is my teacher loves the color yellow ochre. I never even heard of that color until I took her class. And every color that we have to mix requires yellow ochre. But the problem is, if you buy a box of color, there's only one yellow ochre. Right? And so we go like, you have to draw this eggplant, and you need yellow ochre mixed with this purple. I don't know, she has another name for that purple. It's not just purple, it's supposed to be purple. And then you have to mix it up, and you create that color. So we always use yellow ochre all the time. And very soon, as you can imagine, I'll run out of yellow ochre. You can go and buy one yellow ochre, but it's really stupid. So I will start trying to create my own yellow ochre. And like yellow ochre looks like yellow and brown and a little bit of this other color, red. I just mix it. But then my teacher should look at it and like, James, you didn't use yellow ochre, did you? How did you know? I said, well, with the color combination over there, I can see clearly that it's not present. What colors do you have on your palette? How are you drawing your life? Actually, draw your life without God. Try to recreate God with other combination of colors. You create certain things that you think that will be sufficient, that looks close enough to the life that God has designed me to live. Or do you want to use the authentic, genuine yellow ochre in your drawing of life? You want to include God into your life, that your life becomes so real that God is present and active, that you do not need to see Him physically in order to experience Him. The important key word of living life with the right perception is living life with gratefulness. You can look at your life in many ways. I have a friend who pastored a church in Hawaii. I got to know him through a conference. And in his church, they don't have a church building. They rent school buildings to have their worship service. And every time they need an hour to set up the space for worship. In the beginning, when he first started the church, he would look at the space and he'd be like, wow, this takes so much effort. It's so much time. I wish God would give us a building. And for years, they prayed. But in Hawaii, Oahu, where he is, an acre of land costs $10 million. This is cheap in Singapore sense. And for them to accommodate the church that they wanted, they need 10 acres. It's $120 million. And so every day he prayed, God, please grant me this money that I can build this church for you, Lord. And years went by, you look at this church and they're still renting. And then one day a church member came up to him who was involved in the setting up. For years have been coming to church at 5 a.m. in the morning in order to set up church. And every time he sees you, the pastor, my friend, will say, sorry if they're going to come so early. That person will come set up, turn to my friend and say to him, Pastor, what are you talking about? I feel so bad I have to make you come so early every Sunday church, to set up church. I feel so bad for you. And the person looks and says, no, this is the only thing I look forward to all my life. This service to the church gives me meaning in working hard to do it. Pastor, thank you that I can come set up church. From that day onward, my friend looked at church and the volunteers he has setting up, and he said, wow, this is a blessing from God that we do not have a church anymore. His church has grown. Today they have 8 different sites. Every week there's 350 volunteers being blessed because they have no church. How do you look at life? Do you look at life with gratefulness? Or do you look at life with complaining about the unfairness? You can look at an old person and say, oh, why is he so old? Or you can look at the old person and see the lines on his face and say, each line represents a line of wisdom. That this man is so full of wisdom that I need to learn. And I wished I had so much lines on my face. You can look at the young man and says, why is he having so many piercing and tattoo on his arms and he's so different from all of us? Or you can look at him and says, wow, this guy has a daring, courageous spirit and there's so much potential in his life. How are you looking at that? The second thing is years that Beethoven at the end of his life became deaf. And one day he wrote a symphony, and as he was playing on his piano, he couldn't hear. His piano was out of tune, fully out of tune, and everybody around him was singing Beethoven, playing on the piano that was out of tune, and they were hearing this horrible, horrible music. But as they looked at Beethoven playing, as he was playing, they saw tears streaming down his eyes. And after he finished his piece, they went up to him, tried to communicate, wrote to him, says, are you sad because you could not hear? Beethoven replied, I was touched because the piece was so beautiful. See, he wrote a beautiful masterpiece, although played on an out-of-tune piano. And he couldn't hear anyway. But he heard the symphony that he wrote played in the way that it's supposed to be. And later on, when that piece was taken and played on a tuned piano, it became one of the most beautiful tunes he's ever written. What are you hearing? Are you hearing the hardship, the challenges? Or are you hearing a life that God has been providing for you? Ephesians 1:18-19. I pray that the eyes of your heart may be enlightened in order that you may know the hope to which he has called you, the riches of his glorious inheritance in his holy people, and his incomparable great power for us who believe. The power is the same as the mighty strength. Ultimately, it's not about physically seeing God or audibly hearing him. It's about the heart who can get to know him. If Jesus remained on earth and did not go back to heaven, only a small pocket of us will be able to see him every single day. But because he went back to heaven, and he sent the position of the Holy Spirit to the God of Holy Spirit to do the work that he couldn't do, every one of us can have God living in our lives. Every single moment. Something that Jesus himself said, him, while he was on earth, had never done. We are given a bigger privilege of having God with us every single moment. Do you see